Good evening and welcome to the TLC Unleashed show, Hollywood Vibes, Sports, and Life. We have with us a special guest tonight, a friend of mine and a fellow visionary, and his name is Nandi G. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Divine One. And it's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you here. We met, how long ago was that now?
It's about a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, wow, time
Hmm.
flies. I was thinking last night because I was at the location, as I told you earlier, where we had met originally, and it felt like it was just yesterday. So that was such a great event and such a great night. I want to dive into here and kind of find out a little bit about what you do. So you are a visionary, and tell me what that exactly means and what you do in life.
Yes. I had my journey through my inner self as a seeker, as a pilgrim, as a yogi through years to wake up and then realize why I'm here on planet Earth.
Hmm.
And I realize it is to reach consciousness to humanity.
Okay.
So, to reach consciousness to humanity, I was gifted, or rather reminded, of my childhood dream, which is the first part of my vision, which is called the Arivan vision. What will it take if you save the life of all the cows? After you finish milking them, we save its life, create sanctuaries, biodynamic sanctuaries,
Hmm.
and if all the sanctuaries could feed the hungry, and if you have tens of thousands of them, we
Hmm.
could address hunger on planet Earth,
Okay.
and we could increase compassion for
Hmm.
planet Earth. Then the second dimension is, with all of us practicing yoga and all of us literally taking a journey through consciousness,
Hmm.
it's time for each one of us to be the yogi.
Hmm.
A yogi is, you could say, like an aspiration for each to be a ninja.
Okay. I like that.
So every one of us have that, want it. We
Hmm.
also want perpetual youth. We want perpetual energy. We want all the qualities of a yogi to accomplish and be. So
Hmm.
that's the second, which is Be the Yogi World Yogi Day.
Okay.
And the third is where consciousness is, peace is.
Hmm.
And this is the declaration of consciousness movement, where let's spell out what consciousness really means in a society.
Hmm.
One, nonviolence.
Yes.
Two, women are equal, if not more equal than a man. And
Hmm.
ask any man who has a happy mother, they will attest to that.
Yes, exactly. I agree.
Children need to be protected, our elders to be respected and taken care of.
Hmm.
Mother Earth needs to be nurtured, sustained, ethical commerce.
Hmm.
So all this is, we take it as granted in a society that is like America. But the truth is, no. We need it as pillars of our society,
Hmm.
pillars of our civilization.
Absolutely.
And anything that's not, sorry, it is barbaric.
Yes, and so much so now these
Exactly.
days, and what's happening in the world all around, and what we're experiencing. Was it always a calling for you? Do you believe, or was it, as we say, as human beings, a rock bottom experience? What led you to this?
What led me to it, I would say, is my own destiny. And I look at it like it was my destiny to
Hmm.
wake up. But
Okay.
then after the wake up, I would say I was put through different initiations in the form of challenges in my own life.
Hmm.
And these challenges and initiations made me understand that the inner world is powerful.
Hmm.
You can tweak and turn and twirl the world outside you through the inner world, and that's the innermost fire.
Okay.
So, the moment I understood that my inner fire was the truth within my seeking,
Hmm.
then I could see more clearly the external realities and work it the way it would to enhance myself from inside again.
Okay. So I would love to know, and I'm sure our listeners and viewers would love to know too. Was there one thing that raised your consciousness to this level that stands out the most for you? I mean, as human beings, sometimes we can be simple creatures, and when we're not vibrating at that level, how do we understand how to become to that level?
It's a beautiful question.
Thank you.
My journey is through meeting masters, gurus who were meditating for not just they were like I Guru Aya, for instance, was meditating. This was 24th year of unbroken meditation. And there's the other guru, Siddharajasamy Guruji, who feeds something like hundreds of thousands of people. And these are powerful beings who have the power of grace. And what I receive from them is a part of that consciousness. And that part of consciousness comes from the gift of the mantra.
Okay.
So attain a mantra from the lineages, the mantra to light your own inner lamp.
Okay.
And then once that inner fire has begun its work, our breath is consumed. When our breath is consumed, every thought of ours has a quality of higher consciousness to it. And that quality of higher consciousness comes from clarity and ability to see beyond the mind. And now comes the dimension of the mantra itself manifesting for us the inner truth that we are beginning to experience in our external worlds.
How important do you think the word discipline is when you're becoming, at this level of consciousness as well, as we say?
Discipline is a beautiful word as long as we understand that a journey is to the states of joy and we want to have more of states of joy, we will set more discipline to attain it. So
Okay.
the journey within it begins with joy, it is joy, it ends with joy, it is carrying forth joy, and that joy we call as bliss. Now that
Yes.
bliss ultimately becomes our own body form. That's why yogis where a yogi is, the place vibrates with that positive vibratory energies because that's the bliss that emanates,
I love
right?
the word bliss. I use that word actually quite a bit. And do you believe that people are born with this gift? I'm going to call it because it is a gift, and or do you believe that people have to go through so many emotional traumas or experiences in life in order to get to these type of levels?
We're experiencing waves of that enlightening energies, consciousness coming through.
Okay.
Some are born with it. I don't believe I was born. I know I was innately born with it, but I knew there was the right time for me to wake up to tap into it. But that
Yeah.
waking up to tap into it is with every one of us. Every one of us. There's a right time, or rather say there's a right mind or the right need, circumstance when you say, hey, where am I? Am I headed the right direction?
Yeah.
And you're asking the divine help, and we get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this and the truth is, it's in every one of us. And it is in circumstances that we might not expect. For instance, Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela tweaked and turned humanity around through the silence they were given in a prison.
Yeah.
So this aspect of what you say is gift of consciousness
Yes.
is definitely there for every one of us to attain when we seek it.
Yes.
And more so now because the waves of consciousness is moving through. At the time of Paramahamsa Yogananda, the book Autobiography of a Yogi, for instance, it's a book I highly recommend to everyone to read.
Okay.
That was a beautiful wave. Then came the next wave, and I would say that wave is we. All of us now living in this time dimension. We are mostly the indigos who had to struggle to get it.
Yeah.
And then the next wave is our children and the younger generation coming in. You could call them the crystals, who already know and they know exactly where to go to find it.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
these are times when the 100th monkey, that is, when consciousness has attained its level of wholeness as in humanity, it easily catches up with everyone else. So we are witnessing something beautiful. Little children, say 10, 12, saying, hey, I don't want to eat meat anymore.
Yeah.
It's just that their sensitivity has raised up to a layer where it's coming naturally.
Absolutely.
And So it's beautiful to welcome this new wave that we are the middle of.
I love that. And, you know, I was just thinking as you were speaking about things, and I think some of my most, profound times of clarity, I love that word, has been, through some of my darkest times. But it's when I've sat in silence and really taken a step back and taken a look at things and really had to, dig deep within myself and go, what do I want? What is my why? What is my purpose here? Why am I here? And what am I going to do about this situation to get through it and also to come out, to a higher level. And I remember sitting in my room, and I just moved here from Vancouver, BC, Canada. I was going through a really tough time in a marriage, and I remember laying in my room and thinking, how am I ever going to get through this? And how am I going to get through this? And I just practiced breath and prayer and silence, and I would do that every single night till I finally got through my experience. But it was one of those things where, I, as a human being, and I know a lot of other people do it too, you keep yourself so busy and just go, 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 so you don't have to deal. But it's in the moments of silence and stillness is that we really learn and really grow. Wouldn't you agree?
It's very meaningful that you bring this up because we humans are born with the mind that takes us happy and takes us sad, sometimes for no reason at all, sometimes for a good reason. Now, when the mind starts going inwards, for a yogi, we say, wow, because that's the only time you can actually really bring your focus into the inner world and go in. A happy,
Yeah.
happy mind with everything might not be that conductive to be able to go inward as much as a mind that is sad, that is depressed.
Yeah.
So I would say every one of us have a Siddhartha waiting to wake up to be the Buddha. And now let's look into it from another perspective, okay?
Yeah.
And this is the yogic truth. And the yogic truth is that 5 times a day, our breath flips to the right.
Okay. Interesting.
And sunset times, just see when the time the sun is setting. And you will notice that that's the time when you feel most lonely.
Oh.
And that's the time we want to fill up ourselves, that void space. And most times, most people do not know what to fill it up with. And they fill it up with junk.
Yep, that's right.
Now, if we know we can fill it up by going into our own inner self and knowing that this time is the time for our Siddhartha within us to wake up to be the Buddha and complete to be whole, now we have climbed up beyond the mind.
Yeah.
More so, our human limitations in all its forms, actual realities, we've been able to surrender it to the higher power.
Surrender.
And then
good
comes the
word.
next dimension where we are now in that eternal perpetuality of bliss.
I thought of euphoria when you said that.
Exactly. Euphoria.
Yeah,
That's the right
that
word.
euphoric feeling.
And that euphoria is perpetual. So you could say this is a cosmic orgasm.
Okay.
And this is here, a vibratory state is so beautiful
Yeah.
with no thought,
Yeah.
happy for no reason.
Yes, exactly.
And this brings us to the powerful vortex of now.
Let's
once-
talk about that more. The vortex of now. And I like the cosmic orgasm as well. you know. So let's dive into that a little bit more.
Yes.
It's kind of the power
So
of now.
essentially it is this, okay, that we are all complete and incomplete in many ways. But when we complete ourselves from inside out, when we've completed ourselves to the place and point where we know we are whole and complete, now what remains is only the experience of the now.
Okay.
And the experience of the now means no more thought of the past, future, even the present may be just a thought away. That's it.
Okay.
Just a thought away. Now we talk about clarity. Now we see, we
Yes.
hear, we experience the allness.
Yeah.
But more important, we are the sun.
Okay.
And now, for a change, planets go around us and we stop going around the sun. We have the planets go around us. When we have the
Beautiful.
planets, these planets represent our own realities. For a change, we sit and we're happy. We are the happy witness,
Okay.
enjoying not just the sunlight, but being the sunlight.
So this sounds all amazing, and I know everyone else is thinking it. How do we tap into this? I mean, the world's so busy. There's so much chaos going around us. There's war, there's fights, there's politics, there's, partners and this and that, everything that we're going through. How do we tap into this to get to this eternal bliss and euphoria that you're speaking of?
I wanted to tap into this from a yogic perspective, knowing that I live in the society
Uh-huh.
and knowing that within the society, within the dimensions of actual human reality,
Mm-hmm.
we every day gives us the opportunity to rise above.
Mm-hmm.
So I was working it through understanding every 10 days as a period of experience which is like a kaleidoscope, unique in its own pattern. And then I drew a sutra, a consciousness sutra, to work through, and 108 consciousness sutras as techniques or yogic methodology to
Okay.
attain that through my book, Mastery of Consciousness.
Yes.
So this is one dimension of what I would think of as attainment.
Okay.
But beyond all this is to start now. And the first thing you want to do is light your lamp or an oil lamp, a candle or whatever, light it.
Okay.
What you're doing outside yourself, you are manifesting inside yourself. So when you light your lamp for the first time, now you're connecting to source, God, infinity, call that whatever you want, but you're connecting to your highest self.
Yeah.
Next, then understand that you're breaking free of the 24-hour cycle. Because that any one of us trapped in time in the mundane living, we are a slave.
Yeah.
The emperor owns time. The emperor has broken free of time. And the emperor is willing to set time and through that timelessness, determine time. So stepping into timelessness means meditating.
Yes.
So one of the things I would highly recommend to everybody is tap into your own power. Meditate,
Okay.
connect, super connect.
Yeah.
And then see that reality inside ourselves as that light within.
Okay.
And take all our life experiences, let go to the light. Emerge as a light that is risen. Emerge as a consciousness in which all the masters are. Christ, Buddha, all the beings are
Yeah.
in the layers of consciousness. Tap into that.
Okay.
When we tap into this, every thought of ours is incubated in light and derives potency. And that is magnificent realities.
Okay. I love that. And so the next thing, so we're diving into this now. So the meditation. Meditation is not as easy as it sounds. And I know a lot of people find it very hard to do. A lot of people ask me, a lot of my clients being a life success coach is, how do I meditate? I don't have time. I mean, we all have every excuse in the book to not do things that are going to progress us to the next levels in life to be successful. But how do we meditate? What are some baby steps? Let's say dumbing it down for the beginner meditator.
Okay. The word meditation has come to us as a concept. We think not thinking about anything is meditating. We think.
Yeah.
Now, I would say there's two ways to look at meditation. The Buddhist way is looking at it as a cup half empty. And the Hindu way, I would not call it the Hindu way, I would say the ancient Indian way would be saying it as the cup half full.
Okay.
Now, in the Buddhist way, it is, okay, be aware of your breath. You'll catch the monkey of the mind and you'll dissolve it and you'll go to that state.
Okay.
But I like it from a place of states of joy that allows me and wants me to have more of it.
Yeah.
And I believe that, at least my experience is that when I take a mantra, which also the Buddhist practice, which is if you take a mantra, your mind becomes single-pointed. And when your mind has tuned into single-pointedness, even for 5 minutes,
Yeah.
it will be followed by 6 hours of splendid meditative mind that you
Okay,
will
good.
acquire. In other words, when you are connecting to source and allowing all that which your thought is as in one singular focus, like a magnifying glass, it flips you like a magnifying glass converging sunlight into
Okay, yeah.
fire. You go in and tap into that, now your mind is on a meditative state.
Okay. And
And that
how do
meditation state means it's there's no thought.
yes.
It's cleansed you
Stillness.
from the karmic flow of imprint, which means emotions, judgments, all this are karmic states of the
Okay.
mind. So the deal is, how do you climb up above the rooftop of your mind?
Yeah.
Now, when you're sitting on top of your mind, you are in a meditative state, effortlessly, effortless.
Okay. And the mantras, how do we dive into that? So we just pick a mantra. Is it any way to do that?
Okay, now that we are here, and I talked about the mantra, it might be good if I can give you a mantra, but then I look into it from the perspective that first understand what you are receiving. Okay?
Okay.
What you're receiving really is the gift of my gurus. And one of my gurus who was living in the forest with the tigers, I asked him this question. You know, I asked him, for humanity, what is your benediction? What is the gift you can give humanity? What are the words you can give humanity? He said, let the roots of all human be awake. Now that contradicts with all the religions because he's saying, wake up the roots, your root chakra,
Yeah.
and then attain enlightenment, attain higher consciousness. And that is the truth because it's in the human reality that we need that light. We need that human in us to be transformed to angelic beings.
Yes.
And so that goes down into your roots and go down to your roots and simply say the mantra ah, the sound resonance ah. And as you say the sound resonance ah 3 times, you are lighting an inner fire. Now,
Okay.
when you light that inner fire, understand that this is your fire that keeps growing up.
Yeah.
Then bring your focus above the solar plexus.
Okay.
Above the solar plexus is the mastery. Say the ah again. Something as simple as the sound ah is a mantra. Then, of course, you can come down to the heart chakra and open the heart. Because when you open the heart is like the place and point where you can graduate or fail. The heart is
Tell me
where
what that
love
means.
is.
Yes.
And that love has to be unconditional. It cannot have conditions.
Yes.
And so when you open your heart to unconditional love, we are able to graduate to the next layer of being the spirit, having the human experience.
Okay.
Okay? Now, the heart chakra, you could go into a mantra like Rama. Ra is the fire.
Okay.
Ma is the centering of source as the mother.
Okay. Yeah.
The nurturing, Rama. So you could just simply say Rama, 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 Rama. When you say this and open your heart to unconditional love, not only are we healing everyone around us, but we are also being protected by the light of unconditional giving. That is why you have the snake over as Mother Kundalini above, because inside is innocence.
Yeah.
The innocence of love, the innocence of unconditional love, and that's always protected as a vortex of light. Then you climb up through the same fires. Just hold your breath. Take a deep inhale as of now. Take a deep inhale. Hold the breath. And rise the consciousness up to the throat chakra. And understand the throat chakra is where we have spent millions of years evolving, and all the karmic traits of all the birth that restrains us is at the throat chakra, and that can also release us is at the throat chakra. And when you say ah, bring the power of source God, infinity, to destroy that darkness, if and where it is.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Then climb up to your crown chakra. I'm working it through the chakras because it's exciting to go there, because each
Yeah.
chakra is a reality.
Okay.
What you're blossoming inside you is what you're blossoming in your whole world, in your whole realities. Now, when you say ah, now feel the light grace of all the masters descend.
Okay.
Okay? We'll say ah just to feel that experience and give that experience. Okay? And bring your focus into your third eye. When we bring our focus into our third eye, what we are doing is we are activating the sixth sense. The six-pointed star, you could say, is like the bedrock of the we. The commonality between all religions, all pathways of all cultures is represented within the six-pointed star, which is also represented as the flower of life.
Okay.
And this is the third eye. So when you say ah, let it be the vibrations of ah.
Okay.
So put a tongue backward, just go into the vibratory states of ah. Now, remember that whenever we are doing this, we are invoking a higher spirit, but we're also invoking God, infinity. We're also invoking beautiful energies, and we want the blessings.
Yes.
So our hands are the most beautiful instruments. So when you rub your palms together like this, think of your left hand as your mother, and your right hand as your father. Think as your left hand as your left breath, and your right hand as your right breath.
Okay.
Your breath is your guru, your mother and father are your gurus. Now think of all the masters of the world with us right now.
Okay.
All of them are guiding us to our innermost light, our innermost fire. Okay? And this innermost fire is what we are representing through the third eye. So now when you say ah, put a tongue backwards and say ah. And place your palms over your eyelid and receive the blessings. Feel that we are the womb of infinity. We are the womb of void. We are the womb of source. And this are the blessings. See, the mind is in a meditative state. This mind will continue for a long while, but once every 24 hours, have your own ritual to climb up and tap into the highest self and receive the blessings.
I love that. I feel so blessed to be a part of something like this. We had an experience earlier as well, and there was a word I was looking for when I was telling you how I felt your energy was, and you said it just a minute ago, and it was the innocence of a child. And it just came to me, so I just wanted to say that because it's just such a beautiful spirit, and I love it. And the reason why we're doing this episode and why we're tapping into all these things today is because it's not, I'm in the health and fitness world, and it's not just about the bodies, the physicality of the body. It's the mind is so much more powerful. The mind is controlling the body, and I really want people to understand that it's a full totality of taking care of ourselves. It's a wellness program. Our bodies, our mind, our spirits, our souls, everything combined together. And I really believe in that. If we can tap into all of it and just put it into a nice shiny package, we'll live so much healthier and happier, and we'll be rid of diseases and things like that. Because if you think about it, that all the diseases out there now, the cancers and the heart disease and everything, what does it come back to? The first word that comes back to is stress. And these are all tools that we can use to free our minds and our bodies of sickness and disease so that we can live and have that peace and harmony as well, and be the light of the world and help others, and be this magnificent person that's living in a state of bliss. Who doesn't want that?
It is. And what's beautiful about this journey is that once a mind has freed itself from the constraints of awareness has freed itself from the constraints of the mind, now it is like a swan.
Yeah.
And this swan is able to take in inputs that is good energy and not touch energy that is bad. In other words, it knows what to put in.
Yep.
It knows what to do. It begins to understand it does not need any moral policing from outside.
Yeah.
It begins to understand that a state of bliss is partially derived from being liberated, being the free being.
Yep.
And the free being means every thought is a scripture.
Okay.
And when you say scripture, you're saying we are attuned to source. So when we're attuned to source, we know there's a perfection and there's a perfect thought and there's a perfection in the realities we are creating too. So the grandest gift a human can ever receive is attain the states of higher consciousness because now you are dealing with the mind not being a motorcycle or even a car. Now you're dealing with a mind being like a spacecraft. It can do
Yeah.
whatever. All the impossible is possible
Yeah.
as long as the mind is there and the awareness is seated in the right
Yes.
layer of consciousness.
Absolutely. I mean, how many times I can't even remember or count on, two hands is that every time I think something, or I think of a person or, different things, something will happen or that person will text or that person will call. And it's just
Mhm.
like, you call upon good things and you also call upon some of the negative things. My new thing is, I call it my peace bubble.
Mhm.
So I have this peace bubble around me and everyone that's negative bounces off and I don't
Mhm.
allow people into it. But what are some of the tricks of, and especially for someone like myself, because,
Mhm.
I'm a very empathetic person
Mhm.
and I take on a lot of energies and, I'm that healer that wants to help
Mhm.
everyone. And I was always that as a little girl, bringing home the kitty cats and the stray cats and the birds with broken wings. And, my mom's
Mhm.
like, "Okay, we can't keep all these and you can't
Mhm.
help and save everyone." I was just like, "Come on," and I still am like that. But how is there anything to help people like myself and other people that are out there to protect our peace?
Yes. Uh, it's primal to know that when we start meditating, when we start going into our inner self, we become a pillar of light. And once we attain the pillar of light, we can suck in the good, bad, and ugly into that light.
Mm-hmm.
If you sucked in an evil spirit into that evil spirit has become a good spirit, and that's become you are the guru.
Okay.
In other words,
Okay.
be the light and
Yeah.
then twirl wherever you are, good, bad, and
Mm-hmm.
ugly, twirl it into that light that you are.
Okay.
It doesn't matter where you are, it simply is that you are whom you are.
Yeah.
So like I look into it like this. There's a lot of times when you're experiencing an energy field coming to you, but
Uh,
the light will rebound it and take in only that which is meant to be good.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you are constantly renewing that light to be the light.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are that light, who cares? If you're wherever you
Yeah.
are, where the darkness has no place where light is.
Yes, absolutely. So, does it symbolize something when, because that happens to me quite
Uh-huh.
a bit lately, is where it all comes at once.
Mhm.
And there's, about 5 to 10 people, places or things, but mostly people, and they all come at once. And it's like, I feel like, I'm on attack. And it's just like, to learn about myself,
Mhm.
is there some symbolization
Yes.
behind it?
It's a very interesting paradigm to look at, okay? And that is when we wake up,
Uh huh.
our soul says, wow, I am, I am. But the body and mind says, me too.
Yeah.
Now the body and mind has to repay for millions of years of its existence
Mm,
in the evolutionary existence.
okay.
And that is in the throat chakra. That's why you say, to demolish and did. So that's
Okay.
why when you wake up, my first question was, why am I experiencing about 10 to 20 lives in one life?
Uh huh.
10 to 20 problems all simultaneously. And then when you know that you can negate that through the
Mm-hmm.
light, especially through the throat chakra,
Okay.
now you're able to say, bring it on
Yeah.
to all of human
Yeah.
reality. So adopt a meditative practice that can actually negate out anything of the past, present, and future.
Okay.
So the now is so powerful
Yeah.
that that light is simply that which flows. It cannot be
Mm.
defeated.
I love that. Yeah, that's great advice because it does come. I feel as if I've been through a lot of different experiences in my life, and some that have been pretty big game changers, as
Mhm.
I like to call them. And I've hit rock bottom quite a few times, significantly, and I've changed my life in the last 12 years significantly as well. And, I felt like there was a place in time where I just woke up and I was so aware and I was that light and just everything propelled off of me. Everything smelt different, looked different. The birds chirped louder. And it was
Mhm.
just like everything it was like I was invincible, I
Mhm.
felt. And then, one more experience and one more experience and just, you get knocked down a little bit And so there is a possibility just to get back up and get through that again. Are there any tips or anything to, for people like myself that have been through experiences like that where I know it's possible and I've been at that level of consciousness where I've vibrated at such a level that it was just, I felt literally like I was untouchable. And it was, I remember it clearly. It was before I moved here 3 years ago. And I just was, yeah, I felt invincible. And then I came into a new chapter in my life and all new experiences in another country and
Hmm.
all these things coming at you, and I feel like I'm kind of evolving into that now. And that's why I'm
Hmm.
being tested. And are they tests or are they?
As you wake up
Mm-hmm.
and as you journey through, you begin to realize the sensitivity component has increased.
Okay.
So when the sensitivity component has increased, so are you.
Mm, okay.
Now you know what to do for yourself. You know what is your own
Yeah.
vibratory field. You know that you want to maintain that higher vibratory field.
Yes.
And you simply don't want that past darkness.
Yeah.
And every one of us are given a choice to
Mm-hmm.
be reborn every day in the morning when you wake up.
Yes.
That rebirthing is a powerful experience to understand that every day gives us the new, the absolute crisp new,
Yeah.
with all the possibilities, with all the magic,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So when you wake up, when you wake up, this is a tip I'd love to give, I'd love to mention to everyone. Just rub your
Okay.
palms together, think of your mother, think of your father,
Mm.
okay? And feel the word gratitude, gratefulness. We all
Mm-hmm.
received love unconditional. Just feel that love,
Mm-hmm.
unconditional love.
Yeah.
And then feel the love to the cosmic mother and the cosmic father. And put your hands like this and say, thank you, God, for another beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day ahead.
Thank you, God, for another beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day ahead.
And know that now we are in the vortex. The moment we step into the vortex, the moment we are in a vibratory field of gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
Gratitude opens all the doors.
Yes.
And then comes the next dimension, which is do your yoga practice
Okay.
and work. Yoga is not exclusive or inclusive. I would say if I teach Kalangi Kundalini yoga, the mystical end of yoga,
Yeah.
and I call it the software of yoga
Okay.
because it's applicable anywhere by anyone through
Mm-hmm.
whichever way. So, in your own form of your yoga, and you can treat even your exercise, you could treat when you're running on a cycle, on a treadmill. Think of that as your yoga.
Okay.
It's not necessary to do the yoga postures to attain all this.
Okay, that's good to know because not everybody's interested in yoga, and
Exactly.
so this is good to know. You guys can do this without even
Uh huh.
doing the.
So, when you're doing whatever you're doing, tell yourself, I am not the body, I am not the mind.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you're beginning to do your own your own practice, whatever it may be, let's assume it's weightlifting, and you're saying, "I'm not the body, I'm not the mind." Then why am I doing this? Is the big question. Why
Yeah.
am I? So there is that which you're connecting deep within. Asking questions leads you to greater quality of questions to ask.
Mm.
And the greater the quality of the question, the more profound is the answer.
I love that you just said that because in the last I'm gonna say a lot of my experiences happened in the last 3 years since I moved here, but two people that were significant in my life at the time have both said to me that I asked too many, or told me that I asked too many questions. And it's funny, and one had even said, "You ask so many questions, you probably annoy Google." And I just went, "You know what? I'm going to Google that." And so what I Googled instead was people that, I was sharing this the other day, people that actually ask a lot of questions are some of the most highly intelligent people. And so, I just wanted to throw that in there because that was very significant to me. So thank you for sharing that.
I'll tell you a story, okay? This is a story, okay? This has happened to me. That after my meditation, like after my journey through as a yogi, I lost everything around me, dissolved away.
Mm,
And I found myself happy, but I was still not happy because I felt like a spare part.
mm,
So I was in this cave, and there were these three sages who had not spoken for 20 years.
mhm,
And I walk up to them and say, downstairs, because prior to all this, I had a huge business and everything had collapsed. Now I had about 20, 30 creditors sitting on my head. So
mm,
downstairs for me was war. And this is in India. and creditors over there don't not really. There's no bankruptcy law. So in the sense, like there, it was life was a torture for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to these three sages and said, over here, I'm very peaceful. I'm very happy. But downstairs, it's war. What is the form of yoga I need to do downstairs? For a long time, there was silence. And one of them said, what use is the silence if it cannot help humanity? And he broke his silence to speak to me.
Oh, wow.
And now when he spoke to me, it was pure energies coming through to guide me.
Yeah.
Then at the end of it, he said, now we have a gift for you. Ask for anything and we'll give it to you. So I started laughing. I told them, you know what? You're not going to give me what I ask you for. So what's the point in me asking you for it? Anyway, they said,
Okay.
no, no, no. We're going to walk all the way from South India, all the way to the Himalayas by foot. And whatever we are telling you we will make it happen. So you can ask for anything you want. So I said, okay, give me the wisdom behind your silence. They said, no, 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 you can ask for anything else. I said, that's the only thing that is true. And that's the only thing that I need.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that I can carry forward.
Uh-huh.
They said, now we understand why we met you and why we broke our silence.
Oh, I
You
love
have it.
that.
And that resulted in this book, Mastery of
Yes, let's
Consciousness.
see that here. So tell me a little bit about your book. When did you write this? And let's hear about it. Exactly what it's about.
Most of us living in this country, or rather in the Western world, or rather everywhere across the globe,
Yep.
we are not just we just are not attention deficit. We are multi-attention deficit. Look at the number of windows you open in a computer. Look at all this. Okay, this is the realities that we are, and all of us are in this realities. What if we took a few steps backwards, inwards, to bring our focus and see everything from another perspective, the perspective that we stay as a sun and our realities go around us. That is mastery of consciousness. The sun itself never had day and night.
Oh.
My guru, Aya, 18 years he lived drinking 1 cup of milk a day, and then now he's back in tapas. Now, when you step into the deeper consciousness over here, you're talking about a vibratory field. And this vibratory field is all about touching that connectivity to that higher self and connecting to that masters and then relating it into human realities.
Okay.
So in human realities, once we start becoming the sun, now we understand the reason why all the yogis and all the sages in India were called Maharaj, King of Kings.
Okay.
So when we are the King of Kings, we are detached.
Yes.
We cannot be stressed out.
Yeah.
Our work, whatever we do, is the mightiest source of inspiration.
Yes.
And mastery of consciousness is, one, how do we tap into that which will enable us to break the limits of the body, which is health, which is all limitations, the
That's right.
mind in its own ways, because everyone has a genius waiting to be woken up.
I like that.
Every one of us have siddhis. Siddhi is extra normal, supernormal powers. The moment we wake up, we are waking that up to help us attain our goal when we are inspired beings. So inspiration is a very powerful, powerful dimension to come in. Yeah. And then in this book, the first part is my autobiography story. Then comes the 108 Consciousness Sutras
Okay.
to give tools to attain consciousness. And then comes the next dimension, which is we represent the other India, the India that is not Brahmanical, the India that has had thousands of years of beings of light working through, absorbing it, who had no education whatsoever.
Yeah.
So this is the innermost ancient light of energy we are looking at in the form of wisdom, in the form of intelligence. So when we talk about yoga, our take in yoga is, though mystical, it's practical.
Okay.
Though it sounds all about having to attain, it is already attained, right? So that form the articles. And then the last section is, I had 4 awake beings ask me questions of quality that I could answer.
Okay.
So this book was to convey that experience, so it could be the reader's experience, and so it could be that consciousness level and layers that my gurus intended to reach out to humanity.
Okay. Are you able to share with us one of the questions?
Uh, any question? Oh, the
I
question?
want to know one of the four
Okay.
questions that was,
Okay.
because that sounds
Okay.
interesting to me. And
Okay.
this book is
Okay. Let's
just
see. Let's see.
beautiful too.
This is the question. Okay. What is yogic focus?
Okay.
Oh, these pictures are beautiful
Oh,
because
they're
the
gorgeous.
reason I took these pictures was because I realized, uh, see, in my experience, when I was a 4-year-old boy, I was given the experience of God with my two eyes. And later on, when I became a yogi, I wanted to see God with my two eyes. And one day I was granted that wish at Arunachala, the sacred mountain, when the entire mountain turned to be God. And then I realized the blessings of that was to be able to see God every moment. And I had a camera with me. So
Yeah.
these pictures were to describe that intimate connectivity to source in the form of vision,
That is
right?
beautiful. Everybody loves a visual image, and these are absolutely gorgeous. I mean, just look
And
at
you could
this.
use that as a tarot card because you ask a
Okay.
question and open it. The right side is your future, anything related to future. The left is your past and the present.
Okay. And where do we find your book? How do we get
It's
this?
on sensitiveplanet.com
Sensitiveplanet.com, guys,
and Amazon.
and Amazon. And it's The Mastery of Consciousness. Awaken the Inner Prophet.
So you asked the question, and that
Yes.
was what would be one of the questions, right?
Yes, please.
And this is a very interesting one, which is what is yogic focus?
Okay.
Now, I have seen, witnessed, experienced a yogi
Uh-huh.
as highly efficient, highly effective, and doers. Simply because our mind is trained to remain at that one singular spot and step into timelessness.
Okay.
And when we step into timelessness and then come into time, we make things happen. We manifest it. We
Yep.
make things happen. And every one of us desire that.
We
So,
do.
what's going to make that happen is a big question. You could say most of humanity experience the state of a meditative yogic mind when they are actually making love.
Okay.
That's the only time their mind is not preoccupied with anything else. Now, this state of mind is euphoric state of mind is something that we would want to attain in the cosmic layers. So it could be perpetual and it could be much more grander than something that has happened in a flash in the human reality. Now, having attained that, we know that this is so powerful and so beautiful that we are able to hold that singular mind. And when we hold the singular mind, we are nothing other than like an eagle. We can glide above the realms of limitations. And from there, we can bring ourselves to singular focus and make things happen. So this is also called the state of Turiya, the higher conscious state of mind.
Okay.
And this higher conscious state of mind was not exclusive to the yogis in India alone. It was Socrates, Plato, all the masters, Archimedes, all the masters, Einstein, Rumi, all the masters possess this higher conscious state of mind. And this is the yogic focus that is the benefit of that. That means the genius of us is woken up the moment we become a yogi.
I love that. Great answer. That's amazing. I have just enjoyed this so much today, and we've got a few minutes left. But I would like for my listeners and viewers to know how that we can find you and get a hold of you on whether it's social media or an
Thank you.
email or website, please.
Yes. My name is Nandi. It's a bit complicated because the H in it, NANDHI.com. That's my name and that's my website. And our site, sensitiveplanet.com, supports my higher vision of the Arivan, that is to have thousands of sanctuaries, yoga communities across the globe. And beyond that is the Declaration of Consciousness, signdc.org. Sign, S-I-G-N, DC, Declaration of Consciousness, signdc.org. What is Declaration of Consciousness is the power of the we coming to play in physical realities. Our new site is being launched, where millions of us, if we come into being able to say, these are the conscious movies, books, documentaries. Now we become an encyclopedia. We become a Wikipedia to consciousness, to be able to give consciousness. And then if we are able to deliver consciousness by way of conscious entertainment, there's going to be less ignorance in humanity throughout humanity. The Declaration of Consciousness movement is where we each come to play to be the masters.
Okay.
Most important, be a yogi, be a master, attain your states of joy, liberate ourselves, and by liberating ourselves, humanity rises above.
I love it. Beautiful. You guys need to speak to this man. We had a personal tour earlier of a personal space of his, and I thank you again for that experience. I want to thank my sponsors at SWAT Fuel, www.swatfuel.com, a great product designed by doctors and also the SWAT guys themselves. And I got a little present in the mail from these guys from the Gifting Suites at Ohana Cupcakes. I'm going to be making cupcakes later. I don't know about you guys, but this looks fun. Thank you guys so much for that. I really appreciate it. Shout out to Hello Gorgeous. These guys give, oh my gosh, amazing. To cancer patients, they give them makeovers and make them feel special and fill them full of love and joy and bliss. So thank you to them. And also, we are here every Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the TLC Unleashed show, Hollywood Vibes, Sports and Life. And you can catch me on my website as well at www.tlcunleashed.com. Facebook, Tracy Lynn Cowan, TLC Unleashed, Twitter and Instagram. And I hope you guys enjoyed the show as much as I did today. It's great to get in and dive into the spiritual side of things because life is more than just what you see. Thank you again, and until next time, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Divine One.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Hey, what's up? It's your boy Poet Jackson from Honey's Closet. You can catch us every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 8 to 10 p.m. Pacific Time on thepowervoices.com.
I am done with my mattress. That's right. I'm not spending another night on this old bag. My new mattress comes today, and